Hello, welcome to the Heated Debate brought to you by Emirates. We are back. We've had a couple of days to reflect. Zach, you're joining me. We're going to play true or false.
Yes.
I've got a set of statements and we're going to give our thoughts and opinions on those, whether we think it's true or false. Let's get straight into it. We've had 2 days to stew on this one. The first statement that we're going to go into, Gareth Southgate needs to resign. True or false? Which one are you going for? Oh, all right. 3, 2, 1.
False.
Straight in. Tell me why.
False. Yeah, I think this one has a lot of debate. Personally, I think Gareth has done enough now to prove that he should be given his contract. He should be given his contract. At the end of the day, I don't think it's going to come down to basically people's opinions. I think it's all going to come down to what Southgate wants to do himself. And I think he deserves that. If he wants to kind of leave at this point after feeling like he's taken England to where he can, even though I do feel like he can take that next step to win one of the competitions, then he's done enough in the bank, or he's got enough credit in the bank for him to make that decision. For him to kind of step up and go, yeah, you know what, I want to call it now. I'm happy with where I've gone. But I really do think he can. I really think he can go a step forward. I really do think. I believe. I don't know what it was after that. It's weird because when I think about that loss to France, I didn't feel as bad as I did in the Euros or as I did in 2018 when I thought that, oh, we could have played better than we did or whatever it might have been. Having seen the way England played in that game against France, I felt there was enough positives to think, you know what, that next competition, we can really go out there and do it. And look, when you think back to that France game, it comes down to one little moment where the ball goes over the bar. And if that goes in, it could have been a completely different thing we're talking about.
Right, I agree. False. I don't think he needs to resign. But there is part of me that thinks one moment within one game, but that one moment keeps on happening.
Yeah.
It happened last year in the Euro. We scored that goal, Luke Shaw scores, everyone goes wild. One moment they score, goes to penalties. Then in Russia 2018, one moment, we don't quite get it done. And I think that Gareth Southgate, he's the most successful English manager, especially in my lifetime, but in quite a lot of people's lifetimes who wasn't there in '66, didn't see us win the World Cup. What he's managed to do, the squad that he's got, I think it is something very, very special. And I think we will go on under Southgate, hopefully, to the next competition, to the Euros, 18 months' time, to go on and actually achieve and finally get that trophy. But there was this whole talk last year about it coming home, and obviously we've known that since '96. It's felt like that chat will stop now because we can't keep on going, oh, it's coming home, oh, it's coming home, it's coming home. Because we've got close and it didn't. End of. And how much better can he do? I mean, how much more can he achieve? Will it just be one moment again and a series of unfortunate events again?
That's the thing with knockout football. Like there are a lot of countries taking part, and only one can be the winner. And sometimes you do need a little bit of luck on your side. And for England, it wasn't luck on their side on this occasion. And you never know. Maybe at the next World Cup, maybe at the Euros in Germany, there will be that little bit of luck. Sometimes that's literally all it is that bit of fortune. But I can understand where people kind of looking at it and going, you know what, maybe now is the time to call it and try and see what else is out there. But I think it's such like I see a lot of people saying, oh, Thomas Tuchel is available and Pochettino is available, but like it is a very, very different thing, club football to international football. And I think people really need to recognise this. Not often that a lot of successful club managers are successful in international football, and vice versa. Not a lot of international managers are successful in club football. I think when you really go to think about it, like Vicente Del Bosque was fantastic. You see Luis Enrique had a fantastic Barcelona side. Didn't do that well with Spain so far, even though they were playing decent football. So yeah, I do sometimes sit there and I think, be careful what we wish for, because we could end up being in 3 or 4 years' time being like, oh, I wish we had Southgate. He knew how to get these players going, and he knew how to make sure that they were happy. But
if he resigns, we get somebody in now, because that's when it has to happen now, with 18 months to go, and they do manage to win a competition. Do you think
I'll eat my words. But like, I think a lot of credit would still have to go to Southgate as well for what he's developed, for bringing through the players. This is a guy that's worked with a lot of these guys at youth level. But my thing is, if Southgate resigns, then fair enough. I'm absolutely fine with it. Like, he's full credit to him. A fantastic, best manager, international manager for England I've ever seen. But what I don't want is him to like get sacked. or anything like that. Like,
Which won't happen. That's why I think the actual argument is void. The FA have said they will stick with him. The players seem to want to stick with him as well. But there are fans, and we've had Rory on the show, all right, let's just talk about that, who will say Gareth Southgate is a loser. And you've got to look at what he's achieved, which is a semi-final, a final, a quarter-final. He has lost all of those. So I don't necessarily agree with those fans. I've got that opinion, but I understand why they think it.
I can see where they're coming from in the terms of, like, with the squad that England have, they maybe under another manager they could have possibly won it. But I think when you look at that France game, it wasn't the manager's decisions, in my opinion, that lost us the game. It really just came down to one moment, or several moments.
He did bring on some
could have been better.
Different substitutions, though. Bring in Raheem Sterling and Mason Mount on when you've used Rashford and Grealish at times.
I mean, Mason Mount wins the penalty. Maybe he's thinking he wants someone a bit more quicker in someone like Raheem Sterling than someone like Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish did eventually come on, and he also did want to get the subs on a lot earlier. The ball just hadn't gone out of play for a little while. I get it, like for Rory's argument, I can understand what he's on about, and the thing is as well, Rory is of a background where he's a Chelsea fan. He's for the past 20 years he's seen success from this formula, and so I can understand it. I just think Southgate has done enough to let him see out his contract until 2024.
Looking at actually where England can go on to, if he stays with them, do you think that actually we have got a good enough squad? There's players there to win a tournament.
Oh, 1,000,000%. England right now are in a place where the talent they're producing academy level is the best in the world. The under-21s and younger are doing fantastic in tournaments. And so, I do feel like the future for England is bright and is only going to continue growing.
What about Kane, though? Because 4 years' time, I'm thinking about World Cups, not just in 18 months, but 4 years' time, he's 33 years old. Is he still leading the line for England, or who's next? That's what I've been thinking about. Who is actually next for England as a forward?
I think it's a really fair shout, but like I would then kind of say, going back to that is, look, 4 years ago, I had no idea who Bukayo Saka was. And he's now the starter on the right wing. No idea about Jude Bellingham because he was like 15, 16, even younger. And so I would think like there is a huge possibility with the way our young players are growing that there could be a guy that comes out of nowhere. Also, Karim Benzema's just won the Ballon d'Or, into his 30s, and so there is still a world where Harry Kane can lead that side. He might be a very different kind of player to what he is now, and also, really, when you're getting older, the only thing that kind of deteriorates is maybe your pace. And Kane's never been the quickest of players anyway, so I wouldn't say it's and look, even if say we do have a player that isn't the level of Kane up front, you just then make sure your other areas are better. Like, okay, Phil Foden's going to be a little bit older, like I'll say into his prime. He's already prime at the moment, but he'll be even better. And maybe you use that a bit more, or Saka a bit more, whatever it might be. There are ways around it, but that, for instance, is where it comes down to Southgate or whoever the manager is there to make sure they aren't kind of overloading Harry Kane or making sure that England are attacking in a way that is the best possible.
Well, that could have been the end of the England chat for the heated debate now, because they're out of the tournament, so maybe that's us done and dusted talking about them.
What a shame, man.
Let's move on to the next statement, okay? Can Croatia stop Argentina, all right?
Okay.
Obviously, they're playing this evening, huge semi-final. Everyone's talking about, Lionel Messi as a player. Actually, we want to talk about their midfield. Can Croatia's midfield stop Argentina? Have they got a chance in their ageing legs, which they are, against Messi, who's also ageing himself? True or false? I'm going to say that. Oh, okay. We disagree. Okay.
I'll go true.
Why are you going true?
Because in football, anything can happen. I think this World Cup has proven it. I mean, Croatia, I don't think people thought would get this far in the competition, even though they had made it to the finals at the previous competition. They are 4 years older, as you mentioned. But there is a world where this can happen. I think they've managed to do that so far. They've caused upsets, they've caused surprises, and so I think the one thing about that midfield, which is obviously when you look at the Croatian squad, is really because their attack I think is sometimes a little bit dire going forward, and they are having to play on the break and really hope things kind of go their way. But that midfield is experienced. They know how to go into it. Like, they're not going to go into this game against Argentina and Lionel Messi and be kind of naive about it. They know what they're doing. Modric has played against Messi for Real Madrid a lot of times with Clásicos and etc. And so I think they're going to know what to do. The issue, so that's why I say true, but the issue is it's Lionel Messi. And he is getting better every game at this tournament, which is quite frankly frightening.
Do you know, that is why the statement reads, Croatia's midfield will stop Messi and Argentina. Will they stop them for a period of the game? Possibly. Yeah. I think that they're solid and they will sit back and they'll allow Argentina to do what Argentina do. But it's Messi, and Messi will get one chance, one opportunity, and all he'll need is that little bit of space, or he'll create it himself. And I don't think they can stop it for the entire game and for the entire 90 minutes, 120 minutes it could be, or even if it goes to penalties, you're not going to stop Messi. I think it is written in the stars that they at least get to the final, Argentina. But I think that how many times have we seen this tournament alone, Argentina have needed someone, Messi stepped up. If it's not Messi, Julian Alvarez. If it's not Alvarez, you've got Enzo Fernandez as well. You've got players like that can actually just turn it on. And I think the special thing about Messi is he sits there, he stands there, he watches the game. He isn't just the only threat. Is he the biggest threat? Yes, he is for Argentina, but he's not the main. He's not the only threat, I should say. Ooh. And I think that for Argentina, he's the main threat, yes. Give him one chance, he'll score it. Yeah. And he'll do what he needs to do. And if he doesn't, he'll create the pass to give them a chance.
Look at the ball he played against the Netherlands.
Exactly. There'll be one thing he does, might not be scoring the goal, but it'll be one thing he does which breaks that Croatian midfield.
And what is really frightening is I sat here with Sam and I went, he's not been the best player at the tournament. And at the time he hadn't. But he is very much getting there, or if not already. It's crazy to think that, like, game by game, you've just seen him get better and better and better. And then the Netherlands performance was the best one yet. It was fantastic, and it really wouldn't shock me if we watch him and after Croatia and go, that is an all-time great performance, because he is getting better and better.
Are we disrespecting Croatia in a way? And well, are we disrespecting Modric? Because when you talk about the greatest midfielders ever, feels like we don't always bring up Modric. But if he does a job, if he gets them to the final, if he helps them achieve the ultimate goal of lifting the trophy, does he go down as one of, if not the best midfielder ever?
I think he's one of already. I think the thing is, when you go into arguments about midfielders and all this, like you do tend to go towards the goal-scoring ones, like maybe it's like a Frank Lampard or a Zinedine Zidane, a guy that was creative and also getting higher numbers in the assists and the goals. And Modric may not quite have the same numbers as those guys, but what he's done, I mean, his trophy haul with Real Madrid is outrageous. He's a guy that when he first joined Real Madrid, he was voted the worst signing in the Liga history for them, and has now managed to change that completely. And obviously part of that has also been his international career with Croatia. When you look at the size of the country, I think it's like 4 million population. It's mightily impressive to see what they've done with this golden generation. And yeah, look, I think even if he doesn't, if Croatia get to another final, Croatia get to this semi-final, he's already one of the best midfielders to have played the game. If they get to the final, amazing. If they win it, that would actually be outrageous.
I mean, he just sits back and he kind of controls the entire midfield, doesn't he? And tonight, it'll be interesting to see if that job changes against Messi, because Messi also does the same, but...
Yeah, I mean, it'll be... If I'm sitting in now, it'll be Brozovic on Messi. Like, he'll be following around, you assume, and he's fantastic at that kind of role. It's interesting, because basically both teams have two players that control the game for them, with Messi being for Argentina and Modric being for Croatia. And it is very, very interesting to watch how Modric just kind of goes where he wants, and like a little bit like Messi, but I guess, Messi's a little bit different to Luka.
Right, let's move on then. Let's talk about Kylian Mbappe. Wow, all right. I still don't want to talk about him just after that reaction to the penalty miss. Mbappe is the best player in the world, true or false? 3, 2, 1. Oh, wow, we disagree again. I'm jumping in. False.
You say Leo?
He is... No. Oh. No. Erling Haaland. He's not even at the World Cup. I think that Mbappe and Erling Haaland are the next Messi, Ronaldo. I think right now, just in terms of form, we've not seen Haaland for a few weeks, but let's not forget actually what he was doing and what a talent he is. Mbappe has won a World Cup 4 years ago. We know he's been with PSG. He's been great. I just think that right now, talent, who's the most exciting it is Erling Haaland, and we've just not seen him for a few weeks, so people are forgetting the talent he actually is.
I can understand that.
We're comparing Messi, we're talking about Ronaldo, we're talking about Mbappe, because they're all at the World Cup.
I can understand.
Haaland isn't. Is Mbappe the best player at this World Cup right now? If he is, then yes, I'd say true. If that was a statement, but it's not. Is he he's the best player in the world? No, he's not. Erling Haaland, I'm repping for my boy. He's not here. We've not seen him for 4 weeks. Don't forget what he's done.
It's interesting. It's really interesting that we went from the kind of goal-scoring Cristiano Ronaldo and the kind of beautiful playmaker and footballer that Lionel Messi is, and that was always the argument. And that we're kind of going to the next stage of that with Erling Haaland and Mbappe. And look, if you're just looking at pure goal-scoring and a guy in the box, the poacher, to put it away, it's Haaland. He is outrageous, and it is going to be that for a long time now. And maybe there might be a few others, like Musiala might end up kind of dropping in
Bellingham?
there, and Bellingham, and yeah. So it depends on what you kind of rate it. But I think what we're seeing with Haaland is this guy who's outrageous and times by 2 because he's playing for City, and the chances he gets for City, and he's just able to finish them all, and it is great. But then I think if you put Mbappe in that City squad, he's doing the same. I really do. And okay, he might have maybe 4 goals less, but he'll have 7 more assists.
Okay,
and
I
think this is the level of the guy. I mean, it's going to be kind of down to your preference on what kind of player you prefer watching, and if you do prefer just to see a goal scorer, then yeah, it will be Erling Haaland. But for me, I think with the way Mbappe plays his football, he's a guy that can play off the left, can play through the middle. He's the guy that I think for the future is going to be the kind of R9. The way he's built, the way he can play football. Amazing on the ball, dribbling, can take on anyone. His pace is outrageous. And so yeah, for me, look, if he goes and wins another World Cup before the age of 24, matching Pele's record, we've got a guy in our hands who could really continue to break the history books.
Has the conversation completely moved on from Ronaldo and Messi for best player in the world right now? Not best player ever, not greatest of all time. Yeah. Best player in the world right now. I think it's moved on for Ronaldo, but for Messi,
I think Messi is still there at times. He is having an outrageous season for PSG again, or for PSG this time, and he's playing with Mbappe and Neymar, which helps. Whereas, yeah, I guess Ronaldo, the conversation's definitely moved on from. If someone went to me, but actually Messi should be in that conversation with Erling Haaland and Mbappe, I would probably sit there and go, yeah, I think that's completely fair enough, because he's doing ridiculous things as well continuously. But I do think it's starting, mainly because he'll probably retire. He'll retire soon. This is probably going to be his last World Cup, which is why you see how much it means to make with Argentina progressing. And so yeah, the conversation does have to start maybe looking towards the future of who's the best. And Messi's not the level he was, a couple of years ago, that's for sure. But he's still one of the best in the world, and depending on a certain day, is the best in the world.
Messi's got 16 goals, is it, in 24 games? I'm talking about Erling Haaland and what he's managed to do. That's all comps, by the way, as well. It's hard to discredit him and actually say he's not right now.
With Haaland.
Because we both obviously chosen other players and talked about Mbappe and Haaland, but Messi, it's the fact he can do it at his age.
And also, yeah, and this is the thing as well, the thing that Mbappe and Haaland don't have yet is the legacy and the continuation of the legacy, and moving to a different, for Messi finally moving to a different club and doing it as well. I know people will say it's only Ligue 1 and whatever, but it's he's still doing it in the Champions League. He's still proving it on the international stage now as well at the World Cup. He's a guy that is, look, how many conversations there have been about Lionel Messi. He's a guy that will continue to be in that conversation, and in my opinion is the best to have ever played the game. And yeah, he's definitely it could be a coin. If it's a 3-way coin toss, it could be either 3, and I think everyone will be like, yeah, it's fair enough.
Right, let's move on to the next statement then. True or false, Morocco can win the World Cup? This is difficult.
Okay.
After 3, 1, 2, 3.
I'm going with my heart here. I'm going with my heart.
I want them to. I would love them to.
I'm going with my heart.
But can they? Come on.
So the one thing that I thought Morocco have done really, really well is they came up against Spain. And people have said that they are playing negative football and they're playing football that is boring to watch or whatever. But they're actually creating a lot of opportunities against these sides. And I don't know whether maybe Spain and Portugal were a bit naive when they were playing Morocco and thinking, It's only Morocco. You know, an African nation has never made it this far. You know, they're all going to be too giddy with whatever it is. But they have been really, really impressive. I think there's sometimes they've understood where they are in this situation, what their squad holds, and they're not going to dominate. Say Spain or Portugal or France on the ball. So they know they're not going to do that. So what they're going to do instead is be smart with the way they're going to play. They're going to play on the counter attack. They're going to defend really well, and they also know that it's not about getting 3 points or 1 point for a draw or 0 points if you lose. If you lose, you're out. Yeah. And so they've said, okay, well, at the very worst, let's get this to penalties. And that's where a bit of luck can go your way and a little bit of luck can happen for you. And we saw that against Spain. I mean, against Portugal, they kind of rode maybe their luck a little bit as well. But look, we mentioned it earlier, you need a bit of luck to win the World Cup. And so far, it's proving that Morocco have it. Do I honestly believe they're going to? No. But
like, can they?
But can they? Yes. And for my dad, who's North African, I'm pretty sure he respects me doing that.
I'm sorry, Moroccan YouTube fans who are going to watch this, you're going to jump in the comments. Tell me I'm wrong. That's okay. You can do that. I just think, can they win it? Well, in a world, yes, they can. It's football. Luck comes into it. They've beaten Portugal. They've beaten Spain. We've seen that. And we know that they could possibly go on to do it. And Belgium, plus, as well, they've only conceded 1 goal, was an own goal. So actually, no opposition team has scored with an opposition player against them.
Luck is only happening, would be once. This is three or four times now where you've got to start going...
Yes, and it's similar to Greece in the Euro, and we can talk about that. But this is France. This is the World Cup champions. This is a team that they've been lucky at times as well. They weren't the better team against England. If you look at Morocco's performances in this tournament, they get the draw against Croatia. They've got wins against Belgium, Spain, Portugal. They beat Canada. They're in a very difficult group. Let's be completely honest. But they've come through it. They're now meeting an opposition where they're going to need everything to go their way to stop Mbappe, to stop Rabiot, to stop Griezmann, to stop Dembele, to stop Tchouaméni, to get past Hugo Lloris and the defence, Upamecano and Varane. And I'm just naming the whole French team there. And I know that people will get angry and people will say, oh, well, look at what Morocco have done. I get that. I want them to go on. Imagine the story if they could be the 9th nation to win the World Cup.
Imagine.
We know that. Fans have been incredible. The scenes where we've seen players with their mum. The story's beautiful. I want that story to happen.
But you just don't think.
But they're not going to beat France. Let's be completely honest.
I don't know, man. I think you mentioned the fans there. I think the fans are a huge part. That noise, so we've been to quite a few games here. We've been very, very lucky. And so far, the Morocco fans are the best. And I honestly think the players, when they come up against it, are going to be like, oh, God, it's not been like this. For France especially, it's not been like this at this tournament, and it might throw them. And I do think there's a world, like, France want to kind of play on the counter-attack. Like, that's the way their squad's been set up this campaign and this tournament. They kind of do like maybe not having a lot of the ball. And when they do have to have a lot of the ball, and they're playing against a side that want to counter them, I feel like we might see something happen here. I really do. Like, this World Cup has had so many upsets, and I think it's not over yet. Can
we all stop being nice as well, by the way? Hakimi and Mbappe on social media I can't wait to see you. No,
one of them will be crying. One of them will be crying, and then I'll bet they'll be happy to see each other.
Oh, I feel like I have to make it clear that I would love for it to happen, let's be honest, but I just... Can they?
Yes.
Yes, they
will
could.
Probably
1% possibly, but... Mbappe's come out and said, I'll have to destroy my friend. Maybe Mbappe's made his way out of Kyle Walker's pocket to get ready for that semi-final. We'll see.
Doesn't work when we lost.
I know, that's true. He really doesn't. No, I just think that France have got the experience. They've been there. We know that Morocco, they're that team where it's exciting. They've never got this far. An African nation have never got this far. I get that. Is it one step too far, though, for them to get to a semi-final? Their fans... The difference and the thing that is going to help them over the line will be their fans. And their fans, the intense whistling and the fact that maybe it's not luck and maybe it is actually a skill and they've defended so well. I think we're very easy, and I'm guilty of it, I've already done it, is to say, oh, they've been quite lucky. No, luck gets you so far, but actually, what if it's their game plan and then they've got to penalties, they've been able to get through penalties, they've managed to score goals, and once they go ahead, if Morocco score, it's going to be so difficult for France to get back into it.
Massively.
But if France get one opportunity and Giroud's up top.
That's where I think
Or
things will
if they
change,
do
yeah.
what England did, which was the wrong thing to do, by the way, give Giroud 2 chances. He had one great save by Pickford.
Yeah.
They gave him another. He scored it. That is what he'll do.
Yeah.
And I think it's one step too far.
Fair enough. We'll see. We'll see. We'll
We
see.
will. Right, well, Morocco fans, do get in touch. I'm sure you will. You'll tell me I'm wrong in the comments. Drop us a comment on all of those statements. We've said true, false. Let us know your thoughts on it. We will be back for the next round of semi-finals tomorrow. Yes, we will. This is the Heated Debate brought to you by Emirates. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop us a comment as well. And we'll see you tomorrow.